Hello, and welcome back to part two uh, in this series about our measures of academic progress and the FSA, which is taken in the spring of each year for grades 3 through 5. Again, my name is Dr. Miller First. I'm the VE resource teacher at Pinellas Central Elementary. I am also the Promise Time Academy and Extended Learning Program facilitator at our school. Today, in this second part of the series, I'm going to review something called a student progress report. Remember, MAP assessments are computer adaptive achievement tests in mathematics and reading. The computer adjusts the difficulty of the questions so that each student takes a unique test. The difficulty of each question is based on how well the student has answered the previous questions. MAP is a norm reference measure of student growth over time. MAP assessments, joined with other data points, provide detailed, actionable data about where each child is on his or her unique learning path. MAP assessments differ from other data sources to inform instruction because they are nationally normed. They track student progress throughout a year and across years by being linked to software tools which can assist teachers and administrators in planning instruction. MAP tests are based on a continuum of skills in mathematics and reading, from low skill levels to high skill levels. MAP assessments help teachers identify the instructional level of the student and also provide context for determining where each student is performing in relation to local or state standards and national norms. MAP reports also allow teachers to better target instruction based on students' strengths and their needs. Today we are going to discuss the student progress report. Similar to what I did before when I went over the student profile report, I'm going to go over a different type of report that can be pulled from MAP, and this is called the student progress report. Let's recall the table in which students excuse me, where this information comes from. And the information that shows that when MAP is taken in the fall or winter prior to the spring FSA tests, depending on where they fall on the MAP test, is pretty indicative of how they are going to do on the spring FSA. The only difference here in this particular video is that I'm going to show you a different kind of report so that you can have a better understanding of not only how a child has done from fall to winter, because we just finished taking the winter MAP assessment, but this will also give you an idea of where your child or where these sample children might be if they were to take the FSA today or within the next couple of days. So again, I'm going to show you a student who has fallen into the red category or the level 1, the orange category or the level 2, or the green category level 3, which again equate to the FSA level 1, level 2, and level 3. So let's first take a look at a student progress report falling in the red range. This student progress report shows how this child did in fall of 2018 and winter of 2009. I'm sorry, it says winter 2019, but it's really 2018. They just consider it to be the following school year. So what we have here is we have a bar graph. And I'm just focusing on mathematics because that's what we focus on in Promise Time Academy. But we can also get the same information for reading. For this particular student, the student scored a RIT score of 185. Again, that puts that student at a level 1, according to the MAP Winter and the correlation between their MAP scores and their FSA. So this student scored a 185. Across the district, the average was 198. So if I go back and I take a look here, our average was 198, which is just 1 point above where you would fall in a level 4 in terms of a level 3. And this last one is the norm grade level mean, RIT score, which is norm referenced against students across the United States, which generally on the winter test achieve around a 197. So it shows here that this student in the fall of 2018, after 5 weeks of instruction, they received this bold score right here of 170, which is over here. In the winter, they moved up to a 185. They had a growth projection of 7, but their actual RIT growth was 15. Even though that still places this student at a level 1, this lets us know that the student is still making tremendous growth based on what they are learning in the classroom. It also shows the percentile range. This student went from the 5th percentile to the 19th percentile. Again, if I look at my performance level ranges, we went from 5th to the 19th. So even though this student still falls within the 1%, within the level 1, they are still making, it is still showing growth. And a growth projection of 7 is automated from the MAP assessment and their actual growth. So to grow from a 7 to a 15 shows that this child is on track in terms of getting close to where they need to be. So another thing that this student progress report shows you is each of the mathematics goals, how they did in the instructional areas that I spoke about in the first. In operations and algebraic thinking, they were low. In measurement and data, they were low average. In number and operations, they were low. And in geometry, they were low average. Now, let's take a look at a student who has been here a little bit longer, has been in the district a little bit longer. That's why they have more data points. So as you see, if let's just look at winter of 19, which is the test that we just took, this student went from a 186 RIT score to a 191. They had a projected growth of 6, and they actually received they actually grew 5. So they went from a 35th percentile, from the 35th percentile in the fall to the 33rd percentile in the spring. As I look over at my handy map, I am looking at, again, I'm looking at 191 in the 33rd percentile, and that falls in the level 2, 191, and the 33rd percentile. So that shows that if this student were to take the FSA today, or within the next couple of days, that's likely where they would fall in terms of the FSA. And finally, the student progress report. Again, this is a student who, which oddly enough, their growth projection was a 5, and their actual writ growth was -4. However, they went from a 206 to a 202, which means they dropped. They went from the 88th percentile to the 65th percentile, which again means a drop. However, when I look at a 202 and I look at the 65th percentile, this still falls within the level 3 range. So the 202 and the 65th percentile all fall within the level 3. Again, if projected, or for the projection, if the student were to take the test tomorrow or within the next couple of days. So that is a little overview of, again, this person has only taken the particular assessment twice. So they only have 2 data points, unlike this person who has been taking it since fall of 17. And it shows their student writ score, the district grade level mean, that's across Pinellas County, the norm grade level mean, and right now there is no projection because the projection does not come until the spring measures of academic progress assessment. Remember, remember, this is not meant to be used as a tool of comparison between students. The scores, they're not an indication of how well they are doing necessarily in math and or reading. It is just a means of representing your child's academic skill set. So this person, low average in operations and algebraic thinking, low average in measurement and data, low average in number and operations, and average in geometry. Again, this is a student who falls within the 3 range, or I'm sorry, the level 2 range. Okay. So, again, if you have any questions pertaining to the student progress report or how your student is doing, please feel free to contact the school, myself, your child's teacher, and they can provide you with this report and go over with you what this means in terms of where your child is in terms of grade level expectations. We're more than happy to go over this information with you to help you support your child at home. In the next series, Series 3, there will be a video on what you can do to help your child increase their RIT score from now until spring. Thank you very much.